Hey everybody, it's Cherub. Welcome to Diablo Daily. So today I'd like to go ahead and really quickly just go over a few clarifications from last Diablo Daily. Thankfully, CyberDragon on the Diablo fans forums has clarified an issue that I had, not with my equation. My equations were sound, the math was sound, but there is a Bashiok quote that basically addresses the issue, and he goes, we'll probably be dropping gems a couple levels further than the 5th, as previously stated, which should help. Basically what he's saying is, instead of having just a level 5 gem drop, we'll actually have like maybe a level 6 or a 7 or 8 or possibly more. Now, that doesn't actually change the equation that I have written, but it actually does change significantly, I might add, the total time. I had said kind of extravagantly, but it's not out of the question. It's not like it's bad math. It's actually true. But I had said that it'll take you 3.37 years to get that level 14 gem, and that's still true under the conditions that I gave before. But it's still, it's probably not going to quite be as stringent as I had said because of the factor that's going to change. And so let me show you a quick image of how that looks. So as you can see, everything is based on the highest level gem drop, and that's all that matters. The reason why the highest one is the only one that matters. Some of the people said, "Oh, well, you're going to be collecting lower level gems, and those will add up." Actually, they don't really add up at all. And in fact, you saw this very often in Diablo 2. You would find chipped gems on the ground at level 10, but by the time you got to level 2, you'd find cracked or whatever gems, the level 2 gems, and your level 1 gems were basically useless because you couldn't even finish them because they weren't even dropping. And before you knew it, you were collecting level 4 gems, in which case all those gems that you'd collected before, they take so long, first of all, but really they just dilute the drop rate, and they're just useless. Like by the time you have one of the flawless gems, you're still back at cracked gems, or I can't even remember the name, but they were the very lowest gems. So that's not an argument. But a good argument is that if these levels do change like they are supposedly going to do, then we'll see a significant decrease in the amount of time it takes to actually get that 14 level gem. And as you can see right here, I've got as level 6 it would take you 410 days, level 7 it would take you 136 days, and if level 8 is the last one that can possibly drop, it's actually 45 days. And basically the equation based on the assumptions that I made before is right at the bottom there. It says days equals 3. 3 is the amount that's required to evolve the gem. Raised to the power of x minus 1, which x minus 1, it's minus 1 because you have to discount the level you're on now. And then it's over 16, which is basically over 4 and over 4 again, based on the last video. If you don't get all that, just go back to the last video and it'll show you the details of the equation and why it is what it is. So Bashiok also confirms that we'll also make sure that it doesn't become a pain to have a ton of gems sitting around waiting for another one to upgrade, so there may be some crafting solutions that help with that. So there is more in store for gems, crafting, and all that stuff. We just don't know quite what it is yet. So we just have to wait and see. Hopefully Bailey will come soon and we'll get some glimpses of more on that subject. But I'm tired of talking about the gems, so I'm going to move on to what I really want to talk about today, and that is Inferno. So at first we were given the assumption that all the monster levels in Inferno will be at level 61 throughout the entire difficulty. That's what I had thought when I had read it the first time. But there's actually multiple sources that are conflicting with that. One source says that it will be a flat level 61 for all monsters, no matter what. That means bosses, that means regular enemies, throughout all of Inferno will be level 61. But other sources have said that level 61 is going to be the base level for all the monsters, and it's only going to get higher from there, which means all the monsters are just going to get harder. There's problems with both models, in my opinion, and I want your feedback on this. Let's say the first model is the model where all the monsters stay at 61. The problem with that is that if all the content is exactly the same level, at what point in Inferno do we really get worried about the next difficulty? I mean, I guess the monsters naturally could get harder because of their mechanics and the spells they cast. But beyond that, if the monsters don't get harder than level 61, I mean, how are we going to know, what's the difference between running Act 1 and Act 4? It seems like it's going to be just as hard the whole way through. On the flip side of that, the good thing about everything being at level 61, and my personal favorite is for everything to stay at 61, and the reason I like that is because all of the items have the potential to drop right there, and right as soon as you start Inferno, you can get the highest level items. And you're not, and as soon as you finish Act 4 in Inferno, it's not like you're going to be forced to continue doing bail runs or doing whatever the in baddie is, which is probably Diablo. I think it's been confirmed or whatever. So I think that's a very important aspect. If all the monsters are level 61, then we won't necessarily be incentivized to re-roll that same damn monster at the end. But let's look at the other pros and cons of the other version, which is the monsters actually do gain levels in the later parts of Inferno, and I think this is actually been confirmed as actually the way it's going to happen. So the pros about the monsters gaining levels is that you do have something to look forward to by the time you get to Diablo the 4th time. It's going to be damn hard if he's like level 65, or I don't really know the curve, so that's kind of meaningless, but there's a little bit more incentive to fight those bosses, and the bosses are going to be really tough, in which case it's going to be very satisfying for the player when you actually kill Diablo, because he's level 65 and he beats the shit out of you. So that's a really good aspect. But again, the problem with that model is that you're going to be incentivized to go fight just Diablo runs and stuff like that. So it's kind of like both of these camps, whether you want monsters to be level 61 and stay flat at 61, or you want monsters to start off at 61 and gradually get harder as you progress through Inferno. Those are the two camps they're basically the exact opposite, and whichever one you choose, the positive and the negative sides are basically flipped on their heads. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. I mean, do you think that the flat one is good, or if the increased level is good? Just let me know, because they both have their good and bad qualities. I think that's going to cover about everything I wanted to say, but before I go, I'd like to go ahead and let you guys know, if you don't know yet, there is one piece of information that's actually pretty cool. Very soon, like before beta, and beta's coming out very soon too, before beta we're going to get our official forums are going to be revamped. So go check out the old forums. They suck. They're like super old. They're still on the classic Battle.net site. They're still very... I do like them because they're quick and they're fast and there's nothing complex about them, but there's also really pretty terrible search functionality, and it'll be a whole lot better when we get the new interface. The new forums will have... I'm sure the new forums will have, like, all the different categories, and so the off topics can go in the off topics, and the general can go in the general, and then they'll have all kinds of all that stuff. So that's going to be really great. I can't wait. I'm sure a whole bunch more people are going to be flocking to that forum, and the community is just going to get bigger and bigger, and I really can't wait. I'm so excited, because it's coming soon, guys. Just hold your horses, and we'll get through this together, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I know it wasn't Diablo music. It was Wagner, because I love him.